this video, I will be explaining what I learned during a public lecture I attended recently. This lecture was given by Dr. John DePilly, and it was titled Illustrated Special Relativity Through Its Paradoxes. As the title suggests, Dr. Pillay was trying to introduce us to the relationship between time and space through certain paradoxes, and this was very interesting to me because for the first time I was dealing with quantities like time and space as variables dependent on the speed of light. The assumptions of this theory was that the laws of physics are invariant for all inertial frames and the speed of light in vacuum is the same for all observers. So let me explain the theory with the help of a paradox. There were two twins. One liked living a stationary life, while the other one was more adventure-seeking. So one day the wilder one decided to head into space. The rocket traveled at near the speed of light straight into the uncharted depths of space. He kept traveling into space for 5 years before he turned around and headed back home. It took 5 more years to get back to Earth. When he finally did get back to Earth, however, he realized his brother was 40 years older than him. During the 10 years of his journey, 50 years had passed on Earth. But the brothers were the same age at the beginning. How did they end up becoming so different in age? This is because of an effective time dilation. So let's imagine a train traveling really fast and our explorer hops on while our settler remains behind. Now imagine a light bulb fixed at the base of the train. Seen by the explorer, in order for the light to go from the light bulb and back, it only has to go up and down. However, in the case of the settler, in order for the light to go back to the light bulb, the light has to travel diagonally. It is kind of similar to the case when you are in a car and you throw a ball up and down. But to a person on the street, the ball will have to travel a certain distance before it returns to the person's hand. So the ball actually travels a greater distance than it appears to the person inside the car. However, in this case, there's no time dilation because the speeds of the ball are different. If the car is not moving, the ball only goes up and down. If it is moving, it also travels forward with the car. So the forward motion coupled with the up and down motion makes the ball travel faster because it covers a greater distance in the same period of time. However, light is different. No matter what frame of reference you are in, light always has the same speed, 3 × 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So getting back to the train, the two observers see the light traveling different paths. The explorer sees the light traveling a certain distance, while the person on the platform sees the light traveling a greater distance. But since the speed of light is constant, the same phenomenon would take more time for the settler than it would take for the explorer, and the time on the train would appear to dilate. The same argument applies to the passenger in the car too. But in comparison to the speed of the car, light is so fast that it would almost be instantaneous. So technically, time in the car is dilated, but the change is hardly perceived. But though we can say time is dilated when two frames are moving with respect to each other, we cannot say that time is being dilated in this case in the explorer's frame. This is due to the fact that a moving frame is not enough. We need an inertial frame, that is, a plane that travels at constant velocity. But for an accelerating frame, time dilation does not happen. So when our explorer turned around, time dilation had not happened. One can also argue that the Earth is accelerating in the frame of the explorer and the rocket. However, since only the rocket physically experiences acceleration, one cannot argue the other way around. Now, I shall explain space dilation using another paradox. This paradox is called the bug rivet paradox. Here, at rest, the distance between the two parallel plates is equal to the length of the rivet. Now, we shall consider two different inertial frames. one with respect to the plates and the other with respect to the rivet. When the rivet moves close to the speed of light with respect to the plates will move at the same speed but in the opposite direction with respect to the rivet. From the plate's point of view, the rivet also decreases in size by 0.4d, and from the rivet's point of view, the plates reduce in size by 0.4d. However, when the rivet and the planes collide in one frame, the bug is squashed, but in the other, the bug isn't. That is the paradox. When we apply both these concepts, we can figure out how muons reach the Earth. Muons have very low lifespans. So normally speaking, even if they traveled at the speed of light, it would be impossible for them to reach the Earth on time. But because they travel at the speed of light, their clocks travel much more slowly, and they now have time to get all the way down to the Earth. In our reference frame, their lifespans have become 10 or 100 times longer than they actually were, but in the muon's perspective, time dilation does not occur, but Lorentz contraction occurs instead. So from the muon's perspective, the space it has to travel to get to the Earth is much shorter than it is from our perspective. So these are the concepts I was introduced to during the public lecture video. It was really fun hearing about it at first, and it was also fun looking it up and finding out more later. I hope you enjoyed listening to the video.